Hey, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. If this is your first time, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Rebecca. I'm a parenting and relationship coach, and this is my group. I'm so happy that you're here. And I go live every single week at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. And tonight's topic, I do take topic requests. Tonight's topic is holding boundaries when you know that you holding that boundary is going to cause somebody else to have kind of an upset. And so oftentimes parents avoid holding boundaries because they know their kids are going to have a meltdown, or they know their kids are going to have this huge response. And so in order to avoid that huge response, they just let go of the boundary. So this is problematic for so many reasons, and I'm just going to name a few of them. One of the reasons is that the boundary doesn't get held, and kids learn that they can use their emotions in order to shift somebody's boundaries. Now, kids eventually turn into adults, and what that means is you will have adults who grow up to use their emotions to stop people from holding their boundaries, and that is really, really problematic. So that is one of the reasons why it's not okay. Another reason is that it means your boundaries don't get met and your needs don't get met. And that's not okay. It also means that you're teaching your kids that that their needs are more important than your needs, or that their needs are more important than the rules. And so it sort of teaches them to see things from only their perspective. And that's really problematic. And there's so many other reasons why it's problematic, but one of the reasons that I want to talk about, and the way that it relates to you, the viewer, is that what's happening for you is that their distress feels so terrible that you can't tolerate that you currently can't tolerate that. And so you're abandoning yourself, you're abandoning your boundaries, you're abandoning your needs because you are struggling to tolerate somebody else's distress. Now, a lot of times this happens because we were taught that all distress is bad, is something that we should avoid. And so that's not true. Distress is actually very helpful. And distress is often the thing that causes us to realize when we need to change our behavior. When we see the impact of our behavior on somebody else, especially somebody that we care about, and we see that we're harming them, that often gives us the motivation that we need to change. Now, whether or not we have the capacity to change is dependent on the skills that we have available, but also the belief that we are capable of changing. So we want to learn to tolerate a certain level of distress. We want to learn and teach our kids that distress is not something that we avoid, but distress is something that we are capable of handling, that that our capacity will grow for, that it is a skill that we can develop and we can get better at. We can learn to deal with feelings that are uncomfortable. We can learn to deal with feelings, and it's important that we learn to deal with uncomfortable feelings. And just because a feeling's uncomfortable doesn't mean we should try and do away with it. It's quite important that we learn how to feel, and feel the things that are sad, and feel the things that are uncomfortable. It's important to do that. And so for you, the viewer, my challenge for you this week would be to just start noticing how many times you are giving up your needs for somebody else. How many times are you avoiding saying something or avoiding having a boundary because that is going to hurt someone or make somebody else feel uncomfortable? How many times are you abandoning yourself because you don't want to deal with the emotional fallout from somebody else's reaction? we don't want to be avoiding somebody else's reaction for a reason that we give up on ourselves. We deserve our needs to be met. We deserve our boundaries to be respected, and somebody else's struggle against your boundary is their job to deal with. Now, as a parent, your job is to help them deal with their struggle. We put the boundary on pause, we help them deal with the struggle, and then as soon as they're out of that struggle, we immediately move back to the boundary. So let me give you an example of this to kind of clear it up. So let's say it's time for kids to brush their teeth, and kids don't want to brush their teeth, and it's really hard. And so you mention that it's time to brush their teeth, and they start losing it. They're crying, "No, Mom, I don't want to." Whatever it is that they're doing, they're going to be offering resistance behaviors. So our job, we're not going to go get the toothbrush and start brushing their teeth immediately. That would be like holding the boundary with no compassion and forcing the issue. We're not doing that. So we're telling them that it's time to brush teeth, and then they're going to lose it, and then we're going to take care of them while they're losing it. And then after we've brought them back to center, then we're going to go brush teeth. Then it's okay, that was really tough. Now it's time to go brush your teeth. And we get back to the boundary after they've come back to a place of center. We're not giving up on the boundary. We're pausing to help them through their emotional storm. And then we bring back the boundary once they're through the emotional storm. With adults, though, it's not our job. It's not our job necessarily to help someone through that emotional storm in certain circumstances. So this can be a little bit different for adult relationships. It's not our job to help somebody through an emotional storm about a boundary that you have. But it is our job to help somebody through an emotional storm if our behavior has harmed them, and their emotional storm is as a result of our harmful behavior. So there are a couple of differences in adult relationships, but I'm going to quickly check the comments. Okay. A parent said, "I've done this my whole life, and now I'm in the thick of it with an 18 and 14-year-old. I've made some major parenting mistakes, being overindulgent and trying to buy their love and happiness." Yes. Please don't make the same mistakes I did. Yeah, absolutely. When we avoid emotions, and when we avoid somebody else having a negative emotion, it leads to really problematic outcomes. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. There are absolutely things you can do to shift the course of those relationships. So reach out to me, please, if you're still struggling. It sounds like you are. If this is something that you struggle with and you want to learn to hold boundaries, even when your kids are, when they have meltdowns, and you find yourself really struggling to maintain calm when somebody else is losing it, if you find yourself being swept up in their emotional storm and doing anything you can to stop it, like you have that sense of panic, like I have to do anything I can to stop this from happening, reach out to me, let me know, and or reach out to Christina, and she helps me run this group. She's amazing, and she can help you get some of the free resources we have, and if maybe you're in need of more than the free resources, she can talk about setting up a consultation call where we can talk about what's going on in your situation, and we can figure out if one of our coaching programs would be right for you. Some of you can do such incredible work just by utilizing this free group and the free resources that we offer here all the time. For some of you, what you're going to need is more hands-on help. You're going to need somebody to talk through with you about the scenarios that you're currently navigating, and you're going to need coaching. So reach out to one of us, and we will make sure that whatever the resources that are most helpful for you in this next stage, that we'll get them to you. Okay? Take care of yourselves, be gentle with yourselves, and I will see you soon. All right, bye-bye.